Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Mavs Party. My name is Kirk Henderson, and I'm editor-in-chief of MavsMoneyball.com. If you are listening to this on the recording, we started the show here Friday night, November 18th, a little before 10:45 on a Friday night. Now, long time listeners and callers, frankly, will remember how many Fridays in a row last season we started in terrible moods because the Mavericks just could not win on Friday games. And considering how many games the NBA plays on Friday, it was incredibly inconvenient because Fridays were usually the days where we would get the most people. For those who opted to catch this game, the Denver Nuggets were without a number of their best players, including MVP Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, who is is his first season back since an ACL tear. Both of those guys missed the game due to health and safety protocols. Aaron Gordon missed the game due to an undisclosed COVID illness, and I am of the opinion that he's probably the best Luka Doncic defender in the league. I enjoyed this game. The Mavericks needed a blowout win. I already see somebody, my man Doe, in the chat thinking and arguing quite reasonably Luka played too many minutes. But I'll tell you, starting the fourth quarter and just simply closing out the game, like getting that triple-double, then getting him off the court, was something that everybody was probably on the same page about. And it was also nice to just see the Mavericks close the door on this. We've seen them lose way too many times just by slowly losing the lead. This was a bit of a palate cleanser. I don't know how much you can really take away from this game sort of tactically. I think there's some big picture items where you can look and say, okay, more Wood minutes. What are we doing? Hey, Luka Doncic is good at basketball. Who knew? And, some things like that. Seeing Reggie Bullock actually get statistical contributions was nice. I got to say, it was, for as frustrated as I was, and all of us were after the Rockets game, this was a nice change of pace. I am pleased to see where we are. Shout out to my man Jack, who says we shouldn't be celebrating beating a team without their 3 best players. Jack, I just don't care. A win is a win over an 82-game season. We've seen this team play down to their competition way too many times already this year. So to simply walk out on the floor and do the thing that they're supposed to do, I understand the inclination to want to say, okay, stop with the participation trophies. I just want to see them beat the crap out of teams because they're capable of it when things are going right. They didn't let up the gas. Jason Kidd actually called a timeout. We crush him for these sorts of stupid things. And that he did it, I think, deserves a bit of a kudos because he's just been so willing to let them play through their nonsense. And I don't know if they're capable of it. There was this, shout out to former Maverick DeAndre Jordan, who really was probably the catalyst in the win because he is so stinking bad That was Luka just eviscerated him in the final 6 minutes of the second quarter. It was one of the meanest things I've ever seen Luka do, just like relentless attacking. It was fun. All right, so you guys know the drill. You want to come up on stage here, hit that request button, come up, get your take off. If you're new to the show or interested at all in coming in and commenting and you don't do it very often, I'm going to bump you to the front of the line, just the way this goes. We have a rotating cast of about 15 to 20 people that like coming up here and talking with me. Love talking with you guys. I'm going to bring one of you on here shortly. But I do definitely want new people to come up here and talk if that is something that you are at all interested in. All right. Let's go with Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Kirk. How's it going?
I'm okay.
Yeah, see,
nice.
This is a step in the right direction because every single time we played, it didn't matter if it's a bad team or a decent team, and they had their star player out, we would lose. It didn't matter if Luka was playing or not. So, Nuggets fans are like, oh, you're so lucky that our players are out. I'm like, no, we had it. We needed to get this monkey off our back.
We needed to not suck.
Needed to get this monkey off our back and start kicking teams' ass, like especially when Luka's on the floor. Glad to see JaVale McGee besides garbage time, wasn't messing up too much. I think he played pretty decent when
there was a stretch in the second quarter where he just simply went to the open spot on the floor. Luka threw it to him and he scored because DeAndre Jordan, God, I love hating DeAndre Jordan. It's like a passion project of mine because
the 2015
stats and the Mavericks, like we would have to hear the broadcasters try to like put the Mavericks spin on why he was a garbage fire. And there's just like a real joy in saying he sucks.
The whole, you remember that word moratorium, 2015, that more.
Can you believe we all wasted a day of our life being upset about DeAndre Jordan?
Yeah, that whole emoji war, them locking themselves.
I spent 15 straight hours in front of my computer, Chris. I would never, ever be. This is a dark time.
I know.
We're here now.
But you know what? It was so crazy. You look at the standings right now. Dude, if we would have won against the Rockets, if we would have blown that 16-point lead with 4 minutes to go against the Thunder, we would at least be the second seed right now. We would be tied with Portland, but they own the tiebreaker right now. It's early in the season, of course, but with the conference record, they have a better conference record than us. But that is so nuts to think how wide open the West is right now. We would be second place right now just with one more win. All those bad teams we've lost to, it's crazy. Not saying we can afford some of these eggs we've dropped, these losses we've had, but I'm just saying there's no clear-cut West team right now.
Yeah,
Clippers are good.
that. Ronald in the chat is noting that like the seeds don't mean anything right now, and he's right. But that there isn't. It's one's frustrating, but also a bit of a consolation that nobody's broken it open yet, because it means the Mavericks still have a chance to do something despite how unhappy we are with how they've been playing.
Yeah. The most important thing I think is just at least at the worst get a fourth seed, just get home court advantage and go from there.
Yeah, we got 65 games to play though.
Yeah.
So it to me, I sort of break the season down like a football game where you break it up into quarters. You look at the first 20 games, next 20 games, then games, 40 through 60 and 60 through 80. You break it down like that and sort of see how the team is playing. And at this point last year, I wonder what the Mavericks were. But I don't really know how much we know about this team, to be honest, because they've yet to really have a consistent series of challenging games. Because this was supposed to be the start of the hard thing. They're supposed to be playing the MVP and Jokic, and instead they're playing kind of a Jokicless team. But they needed a win like this. And in the short term, I'm willing to sort of take the endorphin boost over what like the analysis might mean, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because the other game that we played where we really kicked their ass was the game that I went to it, and Luka sat the entire fourth quarter. So all the other games have been pretty much clutch games. But it's just, this season, man, if we could just beat Phoenix, if we can beat the freaking Kings, which I'm scared to play the Kings now. They're on a hot streak right now.
Yeah.
Kings, and then, obviously the Knicks, just because we all hate the Knicks for like 1,000 different reasons. But, step in the right direction. We had to get this monkey off our back. It doesn't matter what team it is. They're an NBA team, and Denver's good. But I'm saying, like, I felt like it was a trap game again, just because they were out.
Now Sunday's a trap game because these two. We're basically gonna be playing the same team. Maybe Aaron Gordon plays, but I'm pretty sure Jokic and Murray will not play. And that strikes me as a trap game because you run a team off the floor by 30 points, and the kind of expectation is, well, we can just go do it again.
Yeah.
Now if Lyndon in the chat says, Joker may be back, and if that's the case, that's much more of because that gives Luka like something to do. Like Luka needs to. One of the things that's going to take Luka from being like a great player right now to a true all-time great is like finding the petty thing that gets him motivated for every game.
Yeah, he needs a reason to get, just like in that Phoenix series, they poked the bear. And I swear to God, I know when they played the Warriors, I'm sure Draymond Green before every game was like, do not poke the bear. Just be his best friend. And that's basically, and Luka wasn't like the same. I mean, the Warriors were obviously a better team at the time. But, lastly, I kind of, Jaden Hardy and McKinley Wright, I don't see why they don't call these guys up and just give them a shot. Just get them some reps.
I think Hardy was sick while being with the Legends.
Okay.
I don't even know if he played tonight. Ben Zadell was there for us. I could be wrong about this, but
because this last game, if some reason they do rest, I mean, they're probably not resting Luka in the near future, but if they do, this whole Compazzo having Josh Green and all these players, just give these other guys a shot and see what you got. I mean, it's hard to gauge their talent level playing for the Legends or the Ignite team, but
sure,
just get him some NBA reps at least, and get him some rhythm playing alongside Luka or just playing with the teammates. That's what I would like to see. But
yeah, I mean, a lot of people were calling for that. I know the tickets. Bob Sturm basically was like free Hardy, and before the Mavericks won this game, the first thing that went through my head where it's like, guys, if we're like calling for Jaden Hardy, then we're in a dark
we're
in
trouble.
But if you just like want to see him play because you want to see him play and they're winning, as opposed to like wanting to see him play because you think he might help them win, that's two different things. Like you always want to see younger guys play. Like the calls for Green to play more are nonstop because he. Shout out to Josh Green, by the way. Happy birthday today. Also, happy draft day. He was selected 2 years ago today. Don't worry about who else we drafted that day. It's not something to worry about at all. But it's seeing younger players play is just something that has always happened.
Yeah, because you never know. You have a diamond in the rough, and you're like, okay, maybe we got something here. Maybe they mesh well. Some players can be a good player, but they might not have the chemistry on another, or the chemistry's not there, or they might not mesh well with other teammates. And as we've seen 1,000 times. But anyway, step in the right direction. Let's just get another win on Sunday.
Sure. All right. Coming up next is my man. Who we got here? We got David. Welcome back, David.
Hey, Kirk. Good to be back. I just got home and saw that you were live. So just got back from the game.
Outstanding. Tonight. Much better game for you to go to.
Yes. Wednesday, I was not able to commiserate because I was the only way I could deal with that while present was drinking a lot during the game. Tonight, I don't want to talk about the, Wednesday. I think that's been covered enough, but, we didn't see Campazzo until the end of the game, which made me happy. That's where he belongs. That's all I'm going to say. And then tonight, the energy, Luka was absolutely a surgeon, picking them apart. And I appreciated the fact that he, knowing in the first quarter, like he didn't have it, like he was just a little cold. I'm not sure if it's a little bit of rust. Picking that up in the second quarter, attacking, and just continuing that pace tonight was a relief. And hopefully, I don't want to give I try not to give my hopes up as a fan, but like let's capture this energy and intensity coming into the third quarter, because they have to know every time they got a big lead that it's only like temporary, like they have to play like at 0 coming out every game. They're not the Warriors where they can just lock you up and torture you once they have a lead. That's what I noticed tonight. And also Josh Green, loved the energy. My other comments, things that probably went unnoticed. Highland, Bones Highland.
Hell of a player.
Interesting player. I was not familiar with him. Seeing him in person very fast, very energetic. I liked his aggression early. I also thought it was funny how he's complaining to the refs. I was like, man, if Luka can't complain to the refs, I don't know what the hell chance you have. In the first quarter, like trying to talk and jab at the refs for a perceived foul it made me laugh. I was like, this is a good game if their like 15th best player is already upset. Yeah, great win tonight. And I finally figured it out. I just want to say, seeing Reggie Bullock brick wide open threes is the most painful thing. And I think he started 0 for 4, 0 for 5. But then getting locked in later on, like he's got to be able to hit those, especially in the corner, which is essentially an extended free throw for him. Like right. Those have to be dialed in. And Luka's giving these guys such open looks. When, like, again, watching it on TV, I don't see it the same angle as I do at the game. And these guys have so much daylight, and it's so infuriating to watch it clang off the front of the rim at the start of the game, not in the fourth quarter, not when their legs are done, but like at the start. Like, come on, like get to your shoot around, get your legs under you. But God, tonight, like he was just an absolute wizard. And then the last thing, JaVale McGee needs to not be a starter. Christian Wood needs to be a starter. And I know Dwight Powell's not the de facto, whatever it is, like just start Christian Wood. Our starting lineup needs to improve, and Christian Wood is the answer. Like the chemistry between him and Luka seems to be growing. The pick and rolls, attacking the basket. He does things that Dwight with his Tyrannosaurus arms he just can't finish the same around the basket that Christian Wood can. So I don't know how long that's going to take, but can't wait to see that transition happen. I think it's going to happen if I was a betting person.
Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, man. Good talk. Bye.
All right. Talk soon. So as David mentioned, if you don't know much about Bones Highland, I wouldn't normally recommend seeking out the story of a Nuggets second round player in his second year. But Bones Highland is a Delaware street ball legend. He has a very unorthodox and really kind of incredible game. But on top of that, he also has quite a story. It's a pretty tragic story. He had to jump out of a second-story window when he was in high school to escape a fire that took the life of a grandmother and a cousin. And when he did that, he basically shredded his knee. He tore his patellar tendon, which don't know many NBA players that have done that to their knee. And it's largely like a football injury, but it's the sort of thing that can basically end an athletic career. It is a frightening injury. And for him to come back, play through college, really interesting guy. He's a something else kind of guy. He's just like a cult hero in Denver. I know that they really like him there. And for him, he's like the, kind of a microwave guy off the bench, just does lots of interesting stuff. Obviously Luka crushed him whenever he had to guard Luka, but I don't know. He's the kind of guy from another team that I definitely like watching play. If you followed, he's like the guard who really like stood out in his first year in summer league, because the way he plays and kind of the force he plays with is just, it's not seen in a lot of NBA guards with how he plays. Anyways. All right. Who else we got? Oh, wait, we got a whole number of people who want to come up here. Brandon, how are you? Hit that mute button and tell me what you got. It's down there at the bottom of the screen when you're not on the chat room, and it will let you talk.
Hey, Kirk, can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
I'm well. Thanks. First time I've been looking for the app and finally found it. So, yeah. So I didn't get to see the game, but I saw the box score, and I looked and seen that actually Luka got some support on the rebounds as well as scoring, and that's rare because typically he's the main rebounder, which is kind of unfortunate, but also good because he does a really good job. And the Mavs, they always struggle for some reason with rebounding. They struggle with finding a good point guard, and they struggle with rebounding. So hopefully Spencer and the other guys can contribute some more rebounding, because that's definitely – I believe one of their primary issues is rebounding and stupid fouls.
It's weird to see Reggie Bullock with 6 rebounds. I don't know when the last time he had that many, but you're right. Looking at the box score, obviously you got Wood there with 8. McGee with 4 in a few minutes. Tim Hardaway, of all people, grabbing rebounds. Tim Hardaway had 4 assists. In what world is Tim Hardaway getting 4 assists? But yeah, this was a pretty good team effort. And it's like once the ball got rolling, kind of midway in the second quarter, the Mavericks really did a good job of just absolutely laying the wood to the Nuggets.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed this year, and it's early in the year, so I can't, really say that it's a change in the White Powers play, but stupid offensive fouls. I noticed last year and previously in other years when Rick was there, he would get a lot of offensive fouls off of pick and roll screens and just doing just crazy stuff. So I don't know if that's something that Kid worked on or he worked on, but it seems like the stupid, third quarter, fourth quarter, unnecessary fouls and mistakes that Powell was making in the past is not really showing this year. And if anything, I mean, it doesn't show in the box score, but it actually shows in his play. So, I mean, I'm like you. I'm kind of critical on some of the players, and I try to find good things to say. And I think that's one thing that's actually standing out about Powell this year is he's playing hopefully more cognizant this year.
The offensive fouls is always a weird thing because a lot of them happen on screens. And it feels like at the start of every season, the Mavericks really not the Mavericks, the referees use offensive fouls as a point of emphasis on screens. And I never really understand what some of them are. Like if you throw your hip out on a screen because the ball handler is like not using your screen, that's the ball handler's fault more than it is the screener. But some of the things these guys do where they like do lead blocking instead of setting a screen, it's funny to see. But the Mavericks have cleaned up a lot of the sloppy turnovers. They only had 10 tonight, which is nice. And that really, that's the sort of thing that is gonna keep you in the game.
Yeah. And one thing that's keeping us out is going to be death by 1,000 paper cuts. And whenever the Mavs lost last year in the playoffs, it seems like the shooting issues with Reggie and Dorian kind of carried over into this season. I feel like other teams are just like, well, we're going to let you beat yourselves by letting y'all shoot those corner threes. And just like in the playoffs last year, it was plenty open threes. Reggie and Dorian just couldn't knock them down. And, man, I just wish that they, had that Sean Murray and Kawhi Leonard, mid-range J-type shot where they could just take a couple steps in and knock them down. Because, man, I mean, if they could just take a couple steps in and hit them with a 2 instead of just constantly missing threes, it'll be great. But,
the shooting will come around for these guys, I think. Dorian in particular, he had a great game against the Clippers the other night. It seems to be kind of a rhythm thing, and once they get in the flow, even though we all start to worry about like their minutes totals at the same time. Bullock is a weird one in that career-wise, if you look at his shooting splits by month, and he has like 10 years of data on this, he cannot hit the broadside of a barn until the calendar flips over to the new year. And it happened last year, and like right after Tim Hardaway got hurt, like mid to late January, all of a sudden Bullock was just shooting 40% from three. And it ends up making his season numbers look okay, but then he has these stretches where, let's see where he's shooting this year. Because he didn't have a terrible night tonight, but he did like regular season. Yeah, he's shooting this season. He's shooting 29% from three, and like that's gonna pick up in some rate. But right now, it occasionally feels a little bit like a struggle bus.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully, and I mean, I'm gonna watch him regardless and support him anyway. And he's definitely needed.
If you can go back and watch this one, this will make you feel better about a lot of the gross stuff we've seen the past few weeks.
Man, it's been really gross, man. It takes me back to and my last thing is the Mavs. Another thing they always struggle with is finding some type of just solid point guard. I mean, man, somebody had brought up some of the past issues on your last live about the Mavs not really getting their own talent through draft or through trade. It was always that throw-in person. I remember one time they had, Mike James off of the G League and Roddy Buba. And, man, it's been terrible with point guards with the Mavs. And the guy that went to Sacramento, I can't remember his name. It's always been a struggle with point guards. So, I mean, it seems like it's in the culture that they just say, let's just take a chance and not get a good guard. Let's just get somebody.
You are referencing the 2012-2013 season, which started with Darren Collison, progressed to Derek Fisher, and ended with Mike James.
Mike
That
James.
was a terrible year. Oh, my God.
It was, and I remember that year. It was so bad that for a while they only had Jason Terry on the floor, and he had got injured, and it was just terrible whenever because they had no real sustainable type of anything on the floor that year. It was worth watching those games. I was like, man, what am I doing?
Sure. Well, thank you for joining. I'm glad you sought out the app. I hope you had fun, and I hope you come back.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
All right, talk soon. Okay, let's see here. Got a couple more people. Let's go to Brian. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, what's going on, Kirk?
Welcome back.
I don't got much tonight. I just got two things quick. I need your help on figuring this out. Was Derek Harper trolling when he said there was a 2-play sequence when Josh Green got that pass on the fast break and drove and said the master of the attack. And then right before that, he said when Hardaway hit his first shot, he hit that 3, and he said Hardaway's going to try to build off of what he did the other night with the Rockets. And I'm like, Derek Harper was calling
26. What do we?
Yeah. And I'm like, does Derek Harper believe these things?
Oh, yes. So, wonderful question. I like this. I have learned to love Harp. It took me a long time. Because once you sort of settle with the fact that Harp is just out there saying stuff, it makes it all a lot easier to stomach. Sometimes he's dead on. A lot of the time, he's like me on this podcast, where we're just talking. We're just saying words. Might not be right. I never know what, as a player, it's like, well, of course, like, are you talking about like, it's not as a dentist we care about someone's jump shot. Like, of course it's as a player. Like, what do we, Harp is a character. I try not to complain about him because I know that I miss him when he's gone. Like when I have to listen to, some of these national commentators that don't do their homework the way Followill does, it's a different deal.
No, and Kurt, I used to go to the Reunion Arena and watch Derek Harper play.
Sure.
I love Harp. Sometimes I just hear things from him and I think, is this part of Derek's shtick to kind of pump the team up or pump them up to the fans? But I will say someone needs to make a Twitter page dedicated to Derek Harperisms. Anytime he says mouse in the house, it comes out of nowhere. Like they can be talking about something, all of a sudden it happens, and he's like, "Oh, mouse in the house."
Now, shout out to the account at Derek Harper Fun. That one has been in my mentions for years, and it's really
good.
Funny.
Good. No, that's good to know.
Really...
One other question for you, and you may find someone at Mavs Moneyball that can do the research on this. Maybe you might know. Do you think Tim Hardaway is more likely to take the shot on the next possession if he made his last shot or if he missed his last shot? And the reason I'm wondering about that is I feel like every time he misses a shot, he becomes more desperate to see a shot go down. But then the other problem is if he makes a shot, he thinks he's on a heat check, and so he's got to take the next one, right? So what do you think?
So this is an old head reference because somehow this movie is 20 years old now, but there's a scene in Mean Girls when Lindsay Lohan's character is at the math competition and she just figures something out all of a sudden. And the answer to the question is the limit does not exist. And I think about Tim Hardaway in that reference where there is no, like, the answer to the question, like the question could be 2 + 2 and the equals to Tim would be Tim Hardaway shoots. Is it sunny outside? Tim Hardaway shoots. Like there is no, the answer to all questions is Tim Hardaway shoots. It's sometimes amazing, but most of the time it's maddening.
And he shoots with such confidence. Like him and Finney Smith, I love Finney Smith's corner threes because he always feels like they're going to go in. He doesn't care who's closing out on him. He takes it with confidence. But I just thought, man, if everyone could shoot like Hardaway does, where he thinks that ball is hitting the bottom of the net every time, maybe we'd have some better shooting. Maybe we wouldn't have such hesitant shots sometimes. But alas, that's how I'm feeling about Hardaway right now. So thanks for appeasing me by letting me go off about that.
Sure thing, Brian. Thanks for joining again.
Thanks.
Okay, coming up next, let's do my man Krishna. What's up, buddy?
Kirk, how are you?
I'm good.
I get good that we just got a win, especially after Wednesday. I don't even know how to describe it. Was this a monkey or like I don't even – I was worried. I'll be honest. I was very worried. I was like, okay, no Jokic, and then it's still Jamal Murray, and he might have gone off, but then we heard there was no Jamal Murray, and that made me even more worried. But a solid performance from the team overall, which is what I think we were expecting, but it kind of proves a lot. I feel like you've been saying, it's hard to take anything completely away from this game, but it does prove a lot of the point that without Luka, this team just is not a well-functioning team as a whole, though Christian Wood looked pretty good off the bench. It's hard to really take anything away from this team except that there clearly needs to be improvements, but it's good that you got a performance and you came out in the second half after a quick Nuggets run and shut it down.
Well, I'm just happy they won. I'm happy to overanalyze nonsense instead of be mad at nonsense. And that's sort of where I'm going to go with this. I kind of only wanted to hang out for a half hour, and we're already at a half hour because we like talking about wins. Like, people like talking about wins. There's so much fun stuff that happened in this game. Like, this is, if you want to show your friends why you think Luka Doncic is MVP, even though they're playing against the lesser team. The way he went for kill shots, both not like, I mean this like a metaphorical sense of some of the passes he was making, just like pinpoint stuff, just really special stuff.
For sure. And I think part of it is, for as frustrated as we can be with Luka about all the, messing around and complaining, part of that also bleeds into him not caring and doing really insane stuff. Like, I think in a way he does those things. Like, he does that assist to Dinwiddie in the corner because he doesn't care, because he kind of has like a blasé attitude at points. Blasé attitude in the sense, and not caring in the sense that he's not afraid to do those things. But in the same way, he gets frustrated when things don't go his way because he'll make an assist like that to Spencer Dinwiddie. And, you've had people on your podcast, talk about like they don't like watching Luka play, which I can understand. But to me, I've always found it fascinating because he's like, when you watch the Mavericks play and you watch Luka play, you're so focused on Luka that you forget there are other players on the court, and then he'll make a pass and someone will shoot and you'll realize that someone else is there. And I think there's few players like that in the NBA on some level. Like, you're still watching other guys, but it's not like that with Luka. And he's so ball dominant to a level that, it's worrying, but it's also kind of amazing that this guy's like 23 and he's doing stuff like literally only Oscar Robertson has ever done.
Well, it goes back to me, an element of what has been missing from him the past 2 seasons. I grossly miscalculated J.J. Barea's impact between him playing sort of the consigliere role and go-between with, Rick Carlisle and Luka. Barea definitely was sort of a Luka whisperer. Boban filled the role of friend. But a big part of why I wanted Goran Dragic is I think Goran is one of the few people that can earnestly tell him to shut the fuck up sometimes. Because he is his own worst enemy as much as anybody in the league that's a superstar. And it's because he's young and it's because he's passionate. I don't want him to lose either of those things. But I don't think there's really anybody in the Mavericks that's willing to tell him to settle down. Even Jason Kidd with his cool blue light glasses. I never see anybody really talking to him. And I think he needs that person that's somebody on his level, not a Theo, not somebody that is just a guy talking, somebody who he has actual earnest respect for, to quote Harp, as a player. And when it's like when he is locked in And I earnestly found his bounce back tonight impressive because he did not have a good first quarter. And he came back in the second and just roasted. And that's the sort of thing that, shows some growth, shows some maturity. And I think from, if there was anybody else that could really help push him, that was his teammate. Maybe he doesn't need that because it's a long season. You got to, when you play a competitive sport, you really got to pick and choose, and really just any sort of teamwork activity, you really got to pick and choose when to get in your friends' ears, because you do it too often, people stop listening to you. You yell even if you're right, people stop listening to you. So it's complicated when it comes to these things, but I think that he's just such a special player that when we see him do like what he does, when he's just sort of, he has 30 straight minutes of being a probably the best player on the planet. It makes you wonder what he's truly capable of if he was able to focus for longer stretches of time.
No, and I agree, right? Like I don't disagree on anything you said. I completely agree. I think that same attitude is completely his own downfall. Like he doesn't have anyone to say like, hey, what are you doing? Like just shut up for like 5 minutes and play basketball.
Or focus, yeah.
And, yeah, right. And I will say, like, I'll give him some credit. He's clearly improved in the sense that he knows that if he's not going, he's not going to force it.
Right.
Like Isaac Harris has pointed out, like this entire season, if Luka shoots less than 9 threes a game, he does well. Like he has a good shooting percentage, not only from 3, but just his overall shooting percentage.
That's a wild thing. It's so
funny.
But
it's very true. Like if you look at his stat lines when he's shooting less than 9 or 10 threes a game, he's way more focused because he's making – it's not that he never made smart decisions, but he's making even more calculated decisions. And I think part of the reffing thing, like, yeah, you do need someone. I would have agreed, right? Like Goran would have definitely said, like, hey, what are you doing? Shut up. Like the ref is going to do something to you. Like just shut up for 5 minutes. Like you can't do anything. And I also think part of it is like he's got to get older. Like he's still 23, and
sure,
that's really young. Like a lot of people have always mentioned like guys like Steph and Giannis and LeBron and Michael. Like they only got to that pinnacle point when they're 26, 27, and that's still 4 years. It's like that's a long time, and it's not to say that Luka could never do it sooner, but it's that. The good thing is Luka it's not necessarily his basketball game that has to grow, but it's his personality. And even over the past 4 years, we've seen it grow a lot since his rookie year. And yes, you wish we had a Goran to help facilitate that even faster, I feel like. But, hopefully he gets it farther and farther. But it's just awesome to watch. Like, I think we're going to look back and realize, like, we had an all-time great player playing in Dallas right after another all-time great player.
Sure.
And that's really special. Like that's really, really special. I mean, like,
no, we're not getting this again.
Yeah. I mean, like, think about the Kings. Like the Kings had almost went to the finals, in 2000 or 99. And they hadn't done anything since. Yeah. Like they've had talent in that squad at some points, but to get 2 amazing players like that is it's literally luck, but it's just something that is very unreplicable in basketball or almost any other sport. So I like watching Luka. I'm excited, and hopefully the team improves, and hopefully we all enjoy it, and glad for the win. And I'll let other people on.
Thanks, bud. Talk soon.
This is advertiser content brought to you by Frito-Lay.
Hello, I'm Chip Murphy, here to get you ready for the big tournament. Tonight we'll break down who will be cutting. Cut! What are you two doing?
Sorry, Chip. Prez here got his feathers ruffled when I told him Ruffles has 0 chance of winning the title.
And I was letting Dip know that she is not taking into account Ruffles' iconic ridges.
Guys, it's March. We have to start talking about the tournament.
We are. It is the 2023 Frito-Lay Snack It.
We're talking about big-time matchups between Cheetos, Smart Food, Lay's, Sun Chips, and more.
Just head to the Frito-Lay Snack Bracket and vote for your favorite chip, pretzel, or dip for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks.
This sounds great. Keep up the good work.
Just go to fritolaysnackit.sbnation.com. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends 4/3/2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for one bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnackit.sbnation.com.
Mr. Dang, what's up? How are we feeling tonight? Hopefully a low resting heart rate.
Oh, sorry about that.
Goes
Yeah, I had to.
a little more into the mic.
After the game on Monday, my heart rate got up to like 200 over 150.
A little more into the mic, friend.
Oh, I'm
There
still
we
mad
go.
about Monday, but I'm happy about today.
Good.
But I was so mad that I had to take a couple quinidine and then just lay down. I listened to you guys talk about, everything that was going on. But man, I was steaming. Oh my God, I was steaming so mad. I was yearning back for the 90s Ross Perot days.
The true struggle bus of sports fandom. The 90s Mavs were among the worst professional sports teams in history. So,
holy cow. Ross Perot just bought the Mavs for the land deal,
Absolutely.
I still remember.
Well, what else you got for us, dude?
No, not much. I'm just really happy. I'm just a little worried still, about Kid playing Luka in the fourth. That kind of scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, he wanted his triple double, and they wanted to get him out. I understand why. I saw a couple people talking about that, but it's just like at a certain point, you watch the early 2000 Mavs. If you go through Basketball Reference and look at some of the box scores, Dirk was playing like 43 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Luke will be all right.
It was brutal.
So,
yeah, we're really lucky. I just hope, we can capitalize on having Luka's best years and then doing something. I mean,
sure.
It's just, I don't know if I could trust Cuban and Nico, and Kid. It's maddening, because they show us flashes of what can be, and then they just rip our hearts out by losing to all these crappy teams, and playing around with the seeding, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's going to be a rough year. I mean, I'm going to have
it is going to be an up and down year. I think that is an important thing to attempt to process. And I say attempt because I'm not going to be able to do it, but I can understand it intellectually and still get frustrated. Like I have a 1,500 word column in the Chamber that I wrote today. That'll be the next time the Mavericks have one of these, like, what the fuck kind of losses, I'm just going to put out that talks about a lot of what we've talked about in here. But for now, I want to, he might not be in here anymore, but one of the guys that was earlier talking basically said, I don't really want to celebrate this, but it's like I do. Luka, like it's supposed to be fun. Even if it's not as impressive as it could be, it's still fun. Like I had a great time like watching Christian Wood do his like mini Giannis impersonation where he goes down the lane with the ball high and he swings it through and then like lays it over the rim. I love that stuff.
Man, the good is really good. The
yes.
Bad, oh my God, it's bad.
Sure.
But, I'm just really blessed to have Dirk and Luka. I just hope that, Cuban understands how lucky he's hit the lotto, but I don't know. It's just maddening. I mean, the other day I screamed in my pillow so bad. It was just insane. I was so embarrassed.
Sure.
So embarrassed. But thanks, Kirk. I appreciate everything you do. The writing's been really good, and what you do for us to let us vent, has really made a positive.
Did you, since you're a longtime Mavs fan, did you check out the Dirk post that our guy Brent put out on Wednesday morning?
Yes, sir. It was a very good post.
That was one of the better things we've had run this year, and I think we've had a lot of good stuff. I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, there's been many great posts. It's good to see also Kid kind of throw in more zones. He ran more zones last year when we couldn't guard anybody, to kind of disrupt the other team a little bit. So it's good to see a little bit of a twist. I'm trying to look at the positives. And
Sure.
he did call a timeout too, when they made a mini run. I can't believe it. I had to pinch myself a couple times.
Well, I'm glad you joined us again. I'm glad you're feeling all right tonight.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Look forward to
talk
talking
soon.
to you on Sunday night, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, coming up next, let's go with my man Ruben. How we doing?
We're doing fantastic. How you doing tonight?
I'm okay. I'm about midway through my second cocktail. Got to make a business decision whether I should have a third after we get off the phone because I still got work to do. So I probably.
Hey, I was able to take my little Jameson shots. Even had 2 picklebacks, and was able to enjoy the game with my hookah. And man, we needed this win after that.
See, that's what you need. You
stinker.
need to change your handle to Hookah Doncic.
I might do that. I just might do that. I'm gonna say that for the last question before I get off. I was gonna ask you something, but just a couple of things I did like to see. First off, I rarely talk about Luka because you really don't have to talk about Luka. Everybody else does it, but man, like even was it the first quarter or the beginning of the second? He was almost on his way to everybody knew he was going to get another triple double. He had 8 points and 8 assists or something it was a crazy stat line. But when they showed it, when he finally hit it, being the second quickest to 50 triple doubles in NBA history, and then you saw Jason Kidd at number 5 or number 6 or something like that.
Pretty
that
cool.
kind of it made me wonder what else is he learning from Jason Kidd. I know he needs to work on his coaching, but he has a lot of NBA knowledge, and maybe that is a low key blessing to have him working with Luka so closely, one of the best point guards to ever play the game. And it just kind of makes you think what is Kidd is it's part of the best coach he could have at this point of his career. And I hope it lasts forever, but it kind of makes you wonder what tips Jason Kidd is giving Luka. I rarely hear, media people ask him that, what is he actually working on with Luka?
I doubt they would answer. I really do, because I don't think Jason Kidd's a very good in-game coach, but I think he does have to be quite the people manager because superstars like him. Giannis liked him. I do know it was for a fact it was Chris Middleton who made sure that Kidd got fired from the Bucks, but that's a different deal. There's something to be said to having somebody who can see the game really well, like you can, to be able to talk to. We probably won't know until long after Kidd is gone to what sort of effect and what things they actually talked about, because Lucas sort of strikes me as a difficult guy to talk basketball with, because he just sees it at such a high level. So Jokic, for example, I think experiences the game. I don't think Jokic can really explain why he's so good at basketball. I think
Right.
Luka can. Luka is a scientist as much as he is an artist. And I'm, that's what's going to be fun to watch him as he matures, because this season, for example, we're seeing him attack so much more because he's realized that with the way the rules are and with how strong he is, that he can get to his spot no matter what.
Right.
And so what you're talking about in terms of what are they discussing, how are they figuring things out in film and et cetera, we're never going to know, but I really do wish we could.
Man, yeah, and he's just a one of a kind. It's no point guard has ever been as big as him and tactical as so young. So yeah, I that would be amazing to know once his career is over, just what he learned from Jason Kidd.
Sure.
Another thing I did was how much respect. I know you don't like him for shit. Jordan, DeAndre Jordan.
Oh yeah, they seem to be having a great time before the game.
Yeah, and
that was fun.
Yeah, it was good to see. You really don't see everybody that was in Luka's rookie year. Even to now, they still have so much respect for him.
Yeah, I like that. No, I always love stuff like that. Jordan's just one of these guys where you can tell what you just described, his sort of likability and his friendliness, is a big part of why he's still in the league, because the motherfucker cannot play basketball.
Well, I hope he taught him, how to, dish the big man is really working. So I really love to see that. Another thing I did love to see was finally Reggie Bullock was, getting on the scoreboard early. Maybe wasn't from three, but maybe he just needs to see the ball go in early in the game. But, maybe it's just December. The closer we get to December, hey, you stuck what you got through this long. Hey, I feel like you and a couple other people are still on Reggie Island, and it may pay out. But he looked great
last year up until like January. He was.
Everybody
we talked about it in here. We're like, this is an awful signing. We paid $10 million for this guy.
The only signing, I think, right?
Yeah, we're like, oh, this is it's just like the McGee thing where, our man McGee showed us a little bit of life. He had some post-game quotes where he was talking about how he's like figuring out the scheme and he needs to be a little more aggressive. And, I'm willing to give guys time, is all. Like, I don't, one of the things that, and I've talked about this with Bibbs a little bit, is some of these like arguments about players are stupid in the sense of what would help is just if we didn't have to discuss either of them and they simply had a better player than either player that we're arguing about,
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
At least tonight was a good win.
Yeah, tonight was a good win, and Reggie did his thing. And and what I did notice in this game, it looks like the leash on Josh Green is getting a little bit longer because I noticed he had like maybe two, like soon as the fourth quarter started, he had about, was it 2 defensive fouls, maybe 3, like within 2 minutes, and he stayed on the court. Jason Kidd didn't snatch him. I was waiting on after that first one, I was expecting, we're not finna see Josh Green for a minute. Second one happened, we're not finna see, definitely finna get snatched. He left him in. He's starting to recognize, hey, these young players, let them grow. Yes, they will make mistakes, but I feel like Josh Green has, did more good than his, young basketball player mistakes. I really love to see that. I was like, okay, it looked like I'm gonna give Jason Kidd credit on that. Like he let a young guy be a young guy, but Josh Green was, playing his butt off tonight, and I really like to see that.
Good ball movement.
Say that again.
He had really good ball movement tonight.
Yeah. He missed his only 3 shot, but he's smart. I feel like Josh Green has a very high IQ for a basketball player. Now, way more higher, I would say way more higher than Tim, because I don't think Tim, it's something, keep an eye on Tim and Seawood. It's something between them. I feel like Tim doesn't really like Seawood.
Anybody. Josh Green never really gets pissed on the court. Josh Green got an offensive rebound, tipped out to Tim. Josh runs to the right corner. Tim's standing about 8 feet away from him. And Josh Green's calling for the ball. It was at the top of your screen when this happened. And Tim looks at him and gives him the what the fuck look, and then passes to somebody else.
Yeah, and
it was wide open.
Yeah, see, like it was another ball movement where Seawood went to the corner, like it was all congested on the top, little bit to the left of the top of the key. And Seawood is like, keep the ball moving. It's shit come my way. And no, Timmy throws it away from him. I'm like, Seawood is wide open over there. I'm not sure how that offensive possession ended, but I'm like, Tim, are you that blind or dumb? What the hell? But I did like to see that. But what I really liked was Powell was 12 minutes. I think Seawood had 26. He haven't hit the 30. But Seawood, this was his game, and it's undeniable. I don't know how much longer they can keep him out of the starting lineup, but I feel like it's getting close. I give it 2 more games. But I saw Josh Powell's minutes. I said Josh Powell. Minutes go down tonight, and maybe it was just because McGee was not playing like he can't play. And C. Wood was bringing the heat, and C. Wood and Luka make the game look so easy, and it looks like C. Wood is not going to make a shot. He contorts his body to make it and get a foul. I'm like, you cannot keep that on the bench for too long. And I just really like that chemistry, and it's really growing. And I hope Jason Kidd, after 2 more games, C. Wood has been through the drudges of the whatever Jason Kidd is putting them through. Come on, man. It's past 10 games. Let's not wait till 20 games to put him in the starting lineup. He gives you more than Powell. He gives you way more than McGee. McGee is great on defense. Let him be on the second team. Let him stop the second team from scoring. And then when Luka and Seawood get back on the court, let's light they ass up again. By that time, we're like 20 points up, before the second team even has to take the court. But I did like that. And when I will get off by saying this, love Seawood. Let him start soon. Give him a couple more games. This is a question for you, Kirk. Does Mavs Moneyball have like a Twitch page yet? I feel like
Twitter ain't dying. Everybody's being
say
annoying.
what?
Twitter might not work right. Twitter's not going to.
No,
die.
I say Twitch.
Twitch no,
page.
I know. We don't have any of that because I'm too lazy. Like, that's
what I was going to ask. Like, I mean, I would love. I can't write or anything, but I would love to contribute. Maybe that. I mean, I feel like our Mavs fans love to interact with other Mavs fans like live during the game, and there's some other podcasters and stuff that do like. Live.
Oh, the live stuff. Yeah. No, I like that stuff too. Dalton does that a few times.
Yeah, but Twitch, I feel like Mavs Moneyball should have a Twitch page. Like, even if it's not you, like I said, I would love to contribute and like, hey, damn, I'm getting blown up by Kirk right now. He hates what just like that type of stuff. But like, just we'll talk about it offline or whatever. But it was just an idea. I was just curious if Mavs Moneyball had that, and I feel like that may be the next thing because y'all control Twitter. Like, even if I'm not sure if a person is a Mavs Moneyball contributor, they end up being one, and it's great.
Oh, yeah,
but
everyone.
Yeah, feel like Twitch is the next frontier for Mavs Moneyball.
Thirsty bitch. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Have a good one, man.
All right. Yeah. They're everybody bully SJ into joining Mavs Moneyball. I've tried like 4 times. She's an academic though. She doesn't need to always join us. All right, taking us home tonight is going to be our man Sean. What's going on, dude?
Yo.
How we doing?
Yeah, good. I mean, how can you ever be bad after a win? Like,
that's exactly right.
But it's like I just had like one thing to talk about, which is something about Tim Hardaway Jr. Is it like, of course, the front office tried to spin Tim as one of the new free agent signings that are coming. Has anyone like paused and like thought maybe we made it to the Western Conference Finals not because we were missing the contributions of Tim? Maybe because we really didn't need that and it could be a detriment to the team. Because about someone just spoke about putting Wood in the starting lineup. I don't want to do that because I don't trust anyone offensively in our second unit. And who runs the second unit? Runs the second unit? It's Tim Hardaway Jr. So it's becoming a little more egregious by every game, and obviously all these issues compound. And I understand that he is a genuine torch. He can catch fire and he can win us games. When was the last time he did that? Game 2 against the Clippers? I don't know what is all this credit that Tim has earned since he came here with Porzingis.
Well, I think
average.
I think with Carlisle though, with Carlisle, he really wasn't allowed to do certain stuff. He was allowed to shoot. He was allowed to catch. He was allowed to shoot. He does stuff now where I'm just like, okay, chill.
He's pulling up mid-ranges over 2 people. For what? For what? You're not even the 3rd or the 4th most potent offensive option right now on the court. Sure. Why are you doing that? It goes to speak I think wouldn't ball don't stop love a player like Tim. Like, oh, look at him, he goes into his bag to get buckets. But the Mavs are very, very distinctly not a we go into our bag to get bucket kind of offense. There's only one guy that does that. And maybe Dinwiddie, because he is like a pretty good ISO scorer.
Well, that's
this
what
season.
happens when you don't run an offense, though, is like for some of these players who need shots served to them, Hardaway's one, Josh Green's another one. When you don't run any offensive sets, which I don't feel like the Mavericks do, it gets a little goofy at times.
Losing Igor, I think, has really hurt the Mavs offense. Like, you can tell, like, I think you brought it up the other day, which is like how the Mavs play coming out of timeouts. If Luka's on the court, I think it's right now, Luka is the offensive coordinator in every sense of the way, because he's the one deciding on the court who's going to play and who's not going to be involved. So who's going to be involved and who's not going to be involved. And today, the passes he was putting, one of the best things about like what I saw from the Mavs offense today was the frequency of cuts to the rim. Like, and Luka pinpoint dart passes. There were moments where Christian Wood was genuinely just caught standing absolutely alone under the rim, and all he had to do was jump. Like, so all the good things we see about the Mavs are so Luka reliant. And like, when do we get to a point where we realize we're just fucking up our future more and more by being so fully in on Luka ball? It's not sustainable, and it's extremely worrying. Like,
I actually think it is sustainable.
You think it's sustainable?
Oh, here's why.
Yeah.
I've read some data. That's a terrible way to lead an argument about basketball. Luka basically doesn't cover that much ground per game because, one, the Mavericks play at a slow pace, and two, they stick him on like the whatever 3-point shooter doesn't move around. So I actually think they can do this. That's the pace is one of the things that makes Luka's triple double stuff so impressive, is because he's when Oscar Robertson played, nobody could hit shots. Everybody shot like 35 to 40%. So of course they're just like running back and forth with bricks, grabbing rebounds. Luka's doing it in a much more efficient era, which is really impressive. But
Oscar's era also was like a faster game in general.
So much
more
faster.
possessions.
Yeah, like 125 possessions type stuff. And
what I'm worried about is like we will eventually, I think, run into a wall with Luka. I understand what you're saying. Like, I don't think it's a question of him getting worn out. I think it's more of a question of one very, very, very effective strategy we've seen against the Mavs is you let Luka cook and you ensure nobody else around him can help. And when you have role players that are so specific in what they do and how they contribute, if you take that away from them, you're fucked. Like, that's what the Warriors did. They're like, cool, we'll put our best perimeter defender in, Wiggins on Luka, and we're going to make sure we clamp the hell out of everyone else. Luka can have average 33 points on poor efficiency. That's fine. But we will beat the Mavs by ensuring nobody can step up to help Luka. And that's going to be the strategy again this year. So this is more a test for Luka to show what level his individual greatness is at, because we've seen like other players be put in similar situations and really overachieve. So we overachieved last year. If we overachieve again this year, I think it really, really speaks to the greatness of Luka. And if we go this season without giving up a pick in a trade to get ourselves better, I think it'll be criminal if Nico and them boys, with their full arsenal of future draft picks, these big ass contracts you can jumble together and get something for, and especially if not fucking Gordon Hayward, someone who'll actually make a difference on this team long term. So yeah, I think like I just want to hop off. You guys can continue the conversation, but I just want to get that off my chest. It's a win, I'm happy, but the negatives, just you can't seem to outrun them. As a Mavs fan, you just can't. Like, I just want to see a win where it's like every single thing went to plan. But yeah, asking for too much, of course.
Hey, it was fun. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. All right, that's everybody. We did it in an hour. I'm going to go to bed. We're back on Sunday, play the same team, hopefully with the same result. Everybody enjoy the remainder of your evening. and into Saturday, Sunday, and we'll see what we have here. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk soon.